command, keeping God's command. Midweek meditation, and get complete understanding. On keeping. And get complete understanding. On keeping God's command,
Shalom, 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 Israel. Pray y'all doing well. It's Wednesday. It's 5:30 Central. Actually, it's 2 minutes till. We almost there. It's almost time to get started. But Midweek Meditations is here to give you that spiritual recharge that you've been needing. Yeah, it's the middle of the week. Yeah, life is a little draining. You may be going through your captivity. And, you're just trying to make it to the Sabbath. Well, that's what we're here for, to get you to that Sabbath day. To make sure you can stay in the spirit. A lot of people could use a little bit of help staying in the spirit. They got a lot of distractions going on around. A lot of people got, a little bit of, what should I say, lust to deal with, a little bit of temptation, if you will. Because if you're going to serve the Lord, you got to prepare your soul for that temptation. And moments like this, where we can come together and get into the scriptures, that's what it's all about, helping us get past that, keep the devil at bay. So, today's topic is called Master of the Feast. And we just going to get a little bit of biblical understanding on what it means to, be that guy, that sister, that brother that is mastering the feast, But I just want to see and check and hope and pray that everyone had a great week thus far, that people are in the spirit, that the troubles that they're going through haven't weighed them down too much, that they still are enduring. I see a good group of people on right now. I ask that you hit that share button and help spread and share this gospel. Because if this gospel will be hid, it's hid to those that are lost, and a lot of people are lost on Facebook right now. A lot of people are lost on YouTube. A lot of people are lost on Periscope, looking at things that they ought not be looking at. And this is something that if they were to run across and stumble across it, they might benefit from. See, we got a couple more people joining in. All praises to the Most High. I want to welcome, Gabrielle, Tamika, Ariel, Zuli, Hadessa. There's a couple other people in here, but, these are some loyal supporters, and I'm glad and I'm thankful that you're in the building. So please continue to come back, and I pray that you continue to give me the opportunity to, be a vessel to help you get maybe provoked to do some good works, to read the Bible for yourself, to make application of the Bible and whatnot. So it's good, it's good, it's good. So let's talk about it. But before we get into it, I got to make sure that you guys know midweekmeditations.com is the place that has all of your needs in one space. You don't have to go and search and scroll and wear your thumb out all day on Facebook. All the videos are in one spot. You want to get back to the verses of the day to give you a little inspiration? They're right there at midweekmeditations.com. Oh, so you want to do Bible Trivia Tuesday? You want to get those nice little questions that kind of provoke you to make sure you understood or you understand what is in the Bible by starting to read, fill in, and get the right answers. And then maybe you will be provoked to read up above and a little below and get more context. And then next thing you know, you're precepting and going here a little and there a little, line upon line. That's what it's all about, because if you're not studying this Bible, if you're not making application of the things you study, then what's the point? What's it all about, right? All right. I see we got more people. But I challenge you, share this message with 10 people. You do that, you're not understanding how much of a blessing that you could be to somebody else by giving them that share. So all praises to the Most High for that. So let's get started. Let's start in Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach in the Apocrypha. For anyone new tuning in and don't really know what I'm referring to when I say the Apocrypha, these are the hidden books of the Bible that were removed in the Protestant Reformation. Originally a part of the 1611 King James Version, but no longer a part of it, as society has tried to tell you that the writings that your forefathers and your ancestors have put in place are no longer valid. But I say, nah, these are good books, because the scripture says all scripture is good and profitable. Okay, so paraphrasing, by the way, Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 and verse 1. And the Bible says, if thou be made the master of a feast, lift not thyself up, but be among them as of the rest. Take diligent care for them, and so sit down. Now, we got to understand this. When we're really thinking about the Bible is telling us our history. It is telling us our customs. It is telling us all the great and wonderful things that we need to know to actually be the greatest people on this earth. And we fail to really acknowledge that many times. But today, we're going to acknowledge it. And if we read in Sirach 32 and it tells you about being made the master of the feast, we got to understand the importance of that. So we're going to skip over to Hebrews 13 and 2 real quick. Because we have to begin to understand that there is a high honor that is bestowed upon someone who is willing to take on and able to take on the position or the office of being the master of the feast, because you must uphold that office with honor and integrity. See, a lot of people don't really understand that when we look in the Bible, it's all about putting in work for your nation. It's all about being a servant to others. It's all about being charitable to others and making sure that others are getting blessed and others are being fulfilled. And that's what being the master of the feast is all about. So as we read Hebrews 13 and 2, it says, "Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware." You see, when we entertain, we're entertaining people that we don't really know how great they are and what impact they can have in your life. And understanding how the Bible works and understanding what God is requiring of us. Let's go to verse 1. It says, "Let brotherly love continue." See, the act of being able to entertain is a brotherly love. Now, in some cases, you may, look at different levels of entertainment, whether it be that you're really putting on a show for them or just, giving someone some of your time and interacting, may be up for discussion. But nonetheless, we have to have a spirit that is willing to entertain our people and to not be so standoffish and to not be so rude and to not be so cold, but to really have a love for our people, to really be a hospitable type of people. So hospitality, which is one of the key elements in being a great man in this walk, is something that we have to consider. So it says here, "Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers." See, some of us, we forget how important it is to have that hospitality amongst us. Some of us, we get so caught up in doing a certain type of work that we avoid other matters of work. We forget that not only are you supposed to, preach the gospel with all type of boldness and stone facedness, but then in addition to that, you're supposed to be willing to entertain the strangers because you never know who you're dealing with and what value that person has that is going to be reflected back upon your life and the blessings that you want in your life. And so in doing so, you are setting yourself up for an opportunity. It says, we want to go to Luke 14 and 13. It says, "But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind." So when you're having this hospitable moment, when you're having this charitable moment, a lot of times we got to think about the fact that we don't want to entertain and be charitable to those who need it the most. You see, a lot of us show such a favoritism and a respect of persons that we'll deal with the rich, but we won't deal with the poor. We always want to hang with those who already has, but don't want to hang with the have-nots. And it says in verse, if we go up a little bit, let's go to Luke chapter 14. Let's start at verse 7. Because this is a parable here. A parable that commands us to be very humble and to have a lot of humility. It says in verse 7, "And he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them, When thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee, and him that come and say to thee, Give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, and he saith unto thee, Friend, go up higher. When shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee? For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Then said he also to him that bade him, When thou makest a dinner or supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor the rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and recompense be made thee. But when thou makest the feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, and the blind. And thou shalt be blessed, for they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. So as we're going into this, and we just read Hebrews 13 about entertaining the strangers, and now we're in Luke 14 about entertaining and making and bidding a feast for not necessarily the rich and the powerful, but what about the poor? What about the maimed, the lame, and the blind? You see, God is letting us know that when we're willing to show hospitality and charity toward people who can't do the same thing for you, that he has a blessing. Because remember, and let's go there real quick in Sirach. Uh, no, let's see. I want to say Sirach 11. Let me find it. Um, let me find it. Let me find it. Sirach chapter 12. It says, verse 1, when thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so thou shalt be thanked for thy benefits. So in the midst of what we're reading in Luke 14, you're doing good to some people. And the hope is that you're going to get thanked for your benefits. When you invite somebody to the party, someone is going to then say, oh, that was such a wonderful party. I loved it. I enjoyed myself. Thank you for putting on such a great event, blah, 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 yada, yada. But it says, verse 2, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. See, in verse Luke chapter 14, it said that you would get a recompense um, from the resurrection of the just, but you wouldn't get it from the lame, the maimed, the blind. You would get that from the rich. So the Most High was encouraging you through Christ. It'd be wise of you not to be so focused on doing for those who can do back for you, but to do for others who cannot. Why? Because if you do that, then I can bless you. So back in Sirach 11, it's going to bring that out. It says, Sirach 12, It says, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, if not from that rich man, if not from that poor man who doesn't have any money, yet from the Most High. See, the Most High will pay the debts of others. Most High will bless you when you're blessing those who can't bless you. The Most High is blessing you because someone else can't bless you with that type of measure either. It all comes from the Most High. So it says then in verse 3, there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, and to him that giveth no give to the godly man and help not a sinner. So it says, do well to him that is lowly. That's what we just talked about. Even the poor, the maimed, the lame, and the blind. Do well to them that are lowly, but give not to the ungodly. So if their status is low, but their spirit is righteous, then do what you can do for them. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto them, lest he overmaster thee thereby. Don't give to the ungodly man, though. Unless he overmaster you, you're going to have to hold that back. Because you don't want to be a person who is promoting their wickedness. It says, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good that thou shalt have done to them. For all the good that you do to someone, you can receive twice as much evil for it. So this is how we can begin to understand the importance of being the master of the feast, because if you do it right, there's a lot of blessing that come out of it. But if you do it wrong, then what? And there's questions to be answered. So go to 1 Peter 4 and 8. It says, and above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins. Now, back to Sirach 12's mindset, you're not giving to the ungodly. The ungodly need to figure out how they can cover the multitude of their sins. So for those of you who have the ability to give out some type of charity, it's good for you because it is the thing that is covering the multitude of sins that you may have committed. There are some of you who are adulterers, who are homemongers, who are abusers of their body, who are extortionists and revilers and all these different things that the Bible says we shouldn't be. But one way to help fix that and to balance the scales of justice and to get yourself a little more righteous and a little less sinful is to begin to be charitable. And you see, without that charity, as the scripture says, you have nothing, because you need something in the bank to cover you for when you overdraft on the full amount of sin that you're about to go into. Now, I know a lot of you have been doing well for the longest, but guess what? Your temptation is on the way. And for others who have already met their temptation, I pray that you haven't fallen and succumbed to it. But if you have, it's better that you get your mind right and repent. It's better that you do that because it said in Sirach chapter 12, there can no good, verse 3, come to him that is always occupied in evil. So you have to get out of the evil situations. You have to prevent yourself. That's why the scripture says, flee from sin as if it was the face of a serpent. You know? So when we think about these things and we're thinking about being the master of the feast, meaning the person who is running the show of that event, making sure everyone stay in line, that's an important role to consider. And that's why it says, um, verse 2, Sirach chapter 32 and verse 2, and when thou hast done thy office, when you're finished doing that work, take thy place, that thou mayest be merry with them. Go and enjoy yourself once you finish, and receive a crown for the well ordering of the feast. See, there is a reward for the well ordering of the feast. Now, when you dig deep and you understand the charity behind this, you'll begin to see the depths and understand that the crown is more than just a physical crown on top of your head. You know, some people want to call it a wreath, you know, because of different translations that they believe. But what you're really getting into is that kingdom. What you're really getting into is that ability to get into heaven because you were able to show brotherly love and charity amongst those who are in need. That's what it's like to be the master of the feast, is to put yourself in a position to serve others, to put yourself in a position to make sure everyone else is all right. Because if you know how to do that, that is a great skill to have and a great skill that God admires and appreciates. And that is the thing that's going to help a lot of us get into the kingdom. You see, not all of us are smart. Not all of us are strong. Not all of us are the best speakers. Not all of us can do great art. And not all of us can do all these different things. But a lot of us can show charity. And if that be the thing that you can do it with your might. So we can't take for granted how great this role is. You know, to be the master of the feast is an honor. Some people don't understand what it's like to be honored, to have the ability to receive honor for our works, and to understand that there's a direct correlation of honor because of our works. But, we can't take for granted how great this role is and how great the reward is, because it's so fulfilling to the Most High God. And that's where our blessings begin to run over. You want your cup to runneth over? Be the master of the feast. That's a good opportunity for you to do that. So it says here, we're going to go to 1 Timothy 3 and 6. Because, let me see what I want to read before I get there. Well, let's go back to 1, actually, of Sirach 32. It says, Sirach 32 and 1, if thou be made master of the feast, lift not thyself up. Don't lift yourself up. But be as among them as one of like the rest. So don't try to be such at variance with others and outshine everyone else, is what the Most High is trying to allude to here. It's very important rule to not lift thyself up, because oftentimes when you have a position of authority and power, we do lift ourselves up. We begin to become lifted up. How though? We become lifted up in pride. Now be mindful, 1 Timothy 3 and 6, pride is not becoming of a leader. Pride is not becoming of someone who really loves God. 1 Timothy 3 and 6 says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride he fall in the condemnation of the devil. See, when you're lifted up in pride, you are putting yourself in risk to being in the condemnation of the devil. The devil has his grasp on you. The devil has a hold on you, and now he can help steer you down the path of unrighteousness. Now he can manipulate you into doing things that you know you shouldn't do. But you know what type of people fall into that category? The people who don't understand enough yet to be a master of the feast, who cannot handle a position like that just yet. It's a novice. You see, the scripture says not a novice, not someone who is lacking experience, not someone who has not been there and done it before righteously, not someone who has not learned under someone who has already experienced. See, a lot of us think that we know so much. A lot of us think that we are, the most intelligent and most knowledgeable people on earth. And I'm not here to call anyone unintelligent, inintelligent, well, however you say that word. See, now I have to learn. But what I'm here to tell you is never think of yourself more highly than you are. That's another verse. Look it up. But to begin to understand your place in life and the lot that God gave you, the measure of faith that God has given you in the time period that you have. You see, the thing about a novice is, for some of us, we think that if we just can pass a test, we know something. We think that if I can remember and regurgitate some things, I know something. But what you come to find out is experience is a lot heavy and stronger of a teacher sometimes than the quick glance at a book that you may have done, than the great memorization skills that you've had from being able to see, photochromic of whatever it is it's called, or being able to remember and different things in different ways. Everybody don't have that skill, but what skill you better have is not being a novice lifted up in pride. That's something you got to work on. You prideful people is who we are. The Israelites are a prideful people. And ain't got nothing to be proud of as long as we've been in captivity. So it says, not a novice, lest being lifted up. See, when you get lifted up to the position of a bishop or a deacon in this case, you might end up falling to pride. You might end up in condemnation of the devil. Uh, you cannot control yourself when you're being controlled by the devil. See, one who cannot control himself is easily condemned by the works of the devil in their life. See, if you got control, you can shut the devil out. But if you lack control, the devil can walk in and stomp all over your life. It says the person who is the master of the feast, this is what I'm saying, will likely be a person who is without much, is unlikely to be a person without much experience. You see, we got examples here in the Bible. And we must understand that in order to be the master of the feast, you can't just be a once in a blue moon understander of what the feast is. You can't just be a person that has never experienced certain things but then try to put it on for the first time. You got to have some experience to make sure that you keep your life afloat. Because understanding the dynamics that we go through as a people, with being accepted and being rejected, with feeling warm and feeling cold, with the different things that we have in our life that would cause us to come so close together in some cases are the same things that would be pushing us apart. And I challenge people to take more stock in the things that you already have, because when you got to get to a point in which you got to go against the master of the feast, what I mean by go against is you are the master of the feast and you have to do that great of a job. You better be in the right spirit, because a lot of ends up riding on it because so many people around you have to witness. So it says in Proverbs chapter 11 verse 2, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. See, there's a combination that occurs. When you get pride, you automatically get shame to go with it. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowliness of wisdom. Now you probably understand the wisdom that comes behind a person who goes back a little bit further than usual. That has a lot more experience than usual. That has the connections that some don't have. That's a powerful thing. So it says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. You start to think that everything that has been done is all about you. And those connections that we once referred to, where are you now? So it says the integrity. I got to stop right there. The integrity. Just keep it on. Just keep it going. The integrity of the right man shall guide them, but the perseverance of transgressors shall destroy them. It says, lost my spot. Just lost my spot. Okay, I just got to read it again. We'll start at 4. That's where it is, I believe. Riches profit not in any day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. So all of that then begins to be a part of that prideful situation. It becomes about money. It becomes about status. It becomes about prestige in many times. But when you're really doing the master of the feast thing correctly, it's about being a servant to others. It's about service. So let's go to Ecclesiasticus 32. In verse 1 again. It says, if thou be made master of the feast, lift not thyself up, but be among them as of the rest. Take diligent care of them, and so sit down. So, being that you are the IIC, head Israelite in charge, you're not looking to become prideful in this moment. You're looking to become just like the rest of the people, to be all in enjoyment of what is going on for the people. But you have to take diligent care of the people to make sure that everything's going in order. Somebody has to do it. And you're the one that the Lord has saw fit to bring into it. So this goes into your new moons. This goes into your Sabbath feasts. This goes into your Passovers and your Pentecost and things like that, into which somebody has to come together and do the work. Now, everybody can't be the master of the feast, but think about the servant. Think about the servitude that you're able to display towards your brother, not in a slavery fashion, but in a joyful fashion where you are seeking or able to receive fulfillment from helping others. You know, a lot of people just want to show up and show out. But how many of us actually want to work toward it and receive that crown that we talk about in the next verse, in verse 2? It says, when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place that thou mayest be merry with them and receive a crown. See, as a master of the feast, as a worker within the feast, you get something that other people don't get. Not only do you get to enjoy the feast, but you get to enjoy the satisfaction of helping and loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and to be able to do something for your neighbor, and then to get the recompense not just from man, but even better from the Most High. Now we got to stop for a second and really meditate on that. I got to ask the audience, I got to ask the people who are online, do y'all want that recompense? Do y'all want that blessing? Do you want that from the Most High? Or do you just, want the little bit of benefit that you may get from a person as an individual? You got to ask yourself these things. These things are important to ask. So I want somebody to answer, Do you want God to bless you? See, you see the pause right there? That pause is giving you an opportunity to type, yes, I do want to be blessed. I do want the Most High to see that I was willing to do something for my brother. I was willing to humble myself down. I was willing to remove the pride from my heart and to say, you know what, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to do for someone else. For me, I ain't gonna lie. I had to grow in that spirit. I had to really pick that thing up because I'm the kind of person where I don't want nobody messing up my stuff. I don't want nobody tracking their mud into my house. I don't want anyone, breaking my things. I don't want anyone running up my bills. That's me. That's me right there, Just putting it out there just so you know. We building, we bonding, right? We family right now. So we're going to be honest with each other, right? But as I began to really work on my spirit and I saw other brothers and other sisters with charity to where they didn't care. They would give everything up to the point where they overdid it. They was actually on the opposite end of the spectrum, into which God was like, okay, hold on now, you're doing too much. But I began to learn, okay, man, there's honor in being the house that people come to. There's honor in having guests come over. There's honor in being the one that has put on such a great event. And even though it's going to seem like from time to time that some people have taken advantage of the thing that you have done for them, and they're not very thankful, if you will, well, the Lord got you. Now, I need a lot of Lord got yous in my life. I'm doing pretty good now, as far as being a good example of righteousness. But I know that there's times in my life where I was doing stuff that was wrong. And I know that I have to now do more good than I did bad. And, I need moments and opportunities like these days to be charitable, which covers a multitude of my sins, to offset all the stuff that I did that I don't know how heavy that stuff really was. There might have been a time or place where I did this and I did that, and I don't know the full effect that it could have had on someone else. When you're a thief, and I'm not saying I was a thief, I'm just giving examples. When you're a thief, you look at it as, oh, I just stole $100. But what if the $100 you stole was to feed a family with kids? What if that $100 was to feed someone elderly that was on a fixed income? What if that was someone's prescription money? What if that was the money they needed to put gas in their car to get to their job, and because they couldn't get to their job, they got fired, which then caused the whole ripple effect of people not being able to eat, people not being able to be clothed, of people getting evicted out of a house. Then they don't have anywhere to live. Then they're cold on the street. It goes on and on and on. So moments like this cover that. And I know you, sister, you brothers, y'all got stuff to repent of. And stuff that you actually didn't even know you did wrong, and you just need to be thankful that God will forgive you and give you an opportunity to get past that. So here we are with an opportunity as being the master of the feast. See, some of you are like how I just said I was. You don't really want people at your house like that. You don't really want to put on a show for people like that. See, me, I was an event attender. I'm not an event planner. No. Just let me show up and do my thing. Sit down and chill. And then get up and leave. No, you can't do that, is what I began to learn. What I began to learn is, man, put on the show for the people. If you don't do it, who will? And that began to change a lot for my life. Now I'm a brother that I feel like the charities expected of me, because I didn't flip the script and became more charitable than I was before. Sirach 32:2 again says, and when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place, that thou mayest be merry with them. See, you're going to get the balance of doing the work and having the fun. Don't feel like you're not going to have the fun too. But when you do what you do, there's a crown for you. Now, see, some people don't really want the crown. See, a lot of us, you people, that's so racist. I can't say you people, can I? You people we want salvation, so we say. We want the kingdom of heaven, that's what we say. But our actions don't normally line up with that. You see, for the people who say that they want these things, they fall so hard and so quickly to sin, and then don't do anything to recompense the Most High God. You got to pay the Lord back for the things that you're doing. It says in verse 3, speak, thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee, but with sound judgment, and hinder not music. So now we got to get into this. As the master of the feast, you're going to have certain qualities. Now it's talking about thou art the elder. So there's 1 Timothy that we got to go and gain some of these qualities from, which we were already there, but we're going back. Verse 1, 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, see, the master of the feast is an office. It's just like being a bishop is an office, meaning there's work to be done. But if you're going to be the master of the feast, you got to have that, because see, the bishop is an elder. You got to have these type of qualities. If he desire a good work, a bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, no greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into the reproach and the snare of the devil. So, as we read these qualities here, there's things to point out. Hospitality is one of them. But in addition to that, in order to be a good host, you're gonna have a good reputation. You're gonna have been keeping some of these qualities because people are not gonna want to come to the person and hang with the person and be at the house of the person or the banquet of the person wherever it is because maybe you have a different venue for it of the person who is known to be the rebellious. They're known to be the rule breaker at all times. So it says here, uh, not a novice. See, the master of the feast is going to have experience. The newest, greenest person on the block shouldn't be the one trying to be the most charitable just yet. What they should be doing is trying to learn from the most charitable, as I was giving example earlier. And then when it's their turn, now you exude those qualities that you've learned. So it says, back to Sirach 32, verse 3. Speak, thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee, but with sound judgment. So, as you are in a position like this, it's expected that you're going to kind of guide the show and use your wise words and wisdom with the other people. But you have to do it with sound judgment. You don't want to have the mic in your hand and then some foolish, silly stuff come out. You don't want to be remembered for the dumb stuff that you said in front of all of these people. So you must hold yourself accountable in a situation like this and say, today I gotta be on point. I gotta be able to speak on these things the right way. But it also says, and not hinder music, meaning you have to have a balance of all the speaking that you're doing and the entertainment that's going on, giving it an opportunity to do that. One of the biggest things that I see a lot of our people do is they don't know when the right time to do their thing is. And while a great man in a room is speaking, the little guy will be over there interrupting the hell out of him. While the music is playing and people trying to hear the music and enjoy, you want to have your little side conversation. While the movie is going and everyone's trying to pay attention to the movie, you want to interrupt it with your voice. But what the Bible is letting us know is there's a time for everything. And you got to be able to take the breaks and the pauses and understand the moment in which it's time to speak. You see, a novice don't understand that. And that's why it's important not to be a novice, because if for some reason the people who should do the least talking do the most talking. So it says, verse 4, pour not out words where there is a musician. Pour not out words where there is a musician, and show not forth wisdom at a time. Meaning there's a right time to show forth your wisdom. See, some people just be like, I know something, I gotta spit it out. I gotta tell everybody. But maybe it's not the best time for that. Maybe there's a better time to bring out what you know. So let's look at this. It says in 1 Ezra 4 and 63, let's go there. Because this is just to basically show you in that prideful state that we're trying to avoid, that this event isn't all about you. A lot of times when we have events, first and foremost, all of these high holy days, they ain't got nothing to do with us. To be honest, they're glorifying the Lord. When I say ain't got nothing to do with us, I mean, it's not honoring us, it's honoring the Most High. It's not reverencing us, it's honoring and reverencing the Most High. And even if it's a Memorial Day, it's about what the Most High did for us. But the Most High is the one who did it. So we got to keep that in mind in proper balance, as not to take away from the entertainment and the celebration and put all the spotlight on us. First Ezra 4 and 63, let's get it. In the Apocrypha. This is First Ezra chapter 4 verse 63. To go up and to build Jerusalem and the temple which is called by his name, and they feasted with instruments of music and gladness 7 days. So I'm going here. Now you may know the history of what's going on here, but this is about the temple. Once upon a time when Cyrus was in the building in our Persian captivity. But in this case, it's letting you know and showing you that when it comes down to a feast, there will be music. In order to have a good feast, like, I ain't talking about just eating. I'm talking about feasting. In order for you to have a real party, right? Because the basic elements of a party are about to be explained to you. And a lot of people have put all these other things, heathenistic things, into the party that the other nations do. But God is telling you the blueprint on how a real party is supposed to go. It said they feasted with instruments of music and gladness 7 days. Now I want to provoke somebody to good works, because there's many a good talent in Israel, but many of us hold back our talent and never display the fact that we have the talent to bring forth good music. Some of us know how to play instruments. Some of us are great singers, or whatnot, but you'll never do it in front of the people. You'll do it for somebody else. You'll do it for money. You'll do it for the world. But when it comes down to being a part of this walk and it's time to uplift your voice for God, a lot of us are slacking in that department. I wish I had a voice. I'd sing every day. But y'all don't want to hear me sing. Y'all want to hear me sing solo, maybe. Solo that you can't hear me. But you do not want to hear me grab the mic and start going at it, because that's not my office. So I wanted to point out that element, because when we go back to Sirach chapter 32, Ecclesiasticus, it says in verse 3, speak, thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee, but with sound judgment, and hinder not music. Part of the great element of a great feast is music. And as the master of the feast, as the person who thinks that they're so in charge, because I say it like that because it's the person who began to feel himself a little too much. You got to be careful not to hinder the music. Allow the festivity to take care of itself. It says, pour not out words where there's a musician. Don't overshadow the music. And show not forth wisdom out of time. You wise, cool. But right now it's time to party. Right now it's time to rejoice. Right now it's time to be happy and merry for the Lord. It says, a concert of music and a banquet of wine is a signet of carbuncle set in gold. It's showing you that music, banqueting, and wine go hand in hand to make an excellent party. These are the elements. You got to have music, you got to have drink, you got to have the food. You put all that together, you got a magical party. But you put a fourth element with someone who's talking too much, and you ruining the party. Now, I know that there's someone who knows what I'm talking about, to where it's always that one brother or sister that, puts too much spotlight on them and ruins the show. Well, that person needs to be spoken to. We need to check that. We need to fix that. Because in the rebuilding of our nation, when we do things properly, decently, and in order, the power comes back to us. Sirach chapter 40, verse 20. Because I got to make sure that you get the point and why these elements are here. And as you become a master of the feast, you'll be able to make sure that these elements always exist. Now, see, a lot of us think that when we speaking about this Bible and we giving the laws, the statutes, and commandments, it's always so thou shalt not and this and that. But sometimes it's a little looser than that. Sometimes it's a little simpler than that. Right now, we're talking about the party. We're talking about the banquet. We're talking about the feast. We're talking about the moment in which you can have joyfulness and gladness amongst your brother and sister. And I implore you to utilize these thought processes that the Lord has given us for your next new moon celebration, for your next Sabbath celebration. What about the next high holy day? And even if you're not the master of the feast, are you able to be a servant within that feast so that you can help the master of the feast? Because the master of the feast, and we'll read about that back in the parable in John, is going to have helpers. And all of them got roles and parts to do, and all of them are valuable to the building of this nation. So as I read on in Sirach chapter 40, verse 20, wine and music rejoice the heart. See, that's what we're looking for in these moments. We have to be in this captivity, and we have to do our 6 days on and 7 off. And we need these breaks, and we need these rests, and the Lord has been strategic in giving us a feast day every 7 days. That's very often. Then he gives us another feast days every month. Then he puts seasonal. So we always getting days to work joyfulness into the mix. And if you are wanting to celebrate, wicked pagan folly days over God's holy days, then you missing out on all the opportunities to have more fun because God has placed so many of these throughout the year that it's hard to really get burnt out. But the reason why half of you Israelites are getting burnt out is because you're not actually rejoicing on your feast days. A lot of you are tired. You're broken down. You're worn out. And you know why? It's because you have not putting the energy that you need to put into celebrating the Lord's feast day. You're not putting the energy you need to put into being charitable, to being hospitable, so that the Most High can then bless you based off of the work that you put in. But instead, you maintaining the state of the world. You're going to work. You do that well, but you're not doing the work for the Lord well. You was cold when it came to Christmas. Oh, you was a Valentine's Day all-star. You did those things. Oh, Easter suit was on point, right? But where's the energy for Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles? Where's the energy for the new moon, the Sabbath, Day of Simon, Feast of Dedication? Where's Purim? You see, it says, wine and music rejoice the heart. And you can get that once a week. At least once a week, you can get that. But the love of wisdom is above them both. Understanding that wisdom is great as well. And that's why when we read in Sirach 32 about putting wisdom in the right place, you have a great combination of wine, music, and wisdom coming at you. That's a great party there. That's a great feast. That's a great banquet right there. But it's when you just maneuver the elements all the wrong way, to where you've left out the wisdom, to where you've overshadowed the music, to where there was no wine, to where the food was less than moderate. Now you done hindered the party. Now you done stopped the progression of the rejoicing of heart. Remember, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, it tells you that you got to serve the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart. And that becomes very difficult to do when nobody's willing to be the master of that feast. When no one has the hospitality, humility, and the charity to put on for the others. You see, it's so many of us who just want to show up and drink, who just want to show up and eat, but don't put in. Don't put in financially. Don't put in any effort of work. You're the first one there and the last to leave because you wanted to eat up everything, or you're the last one there and the first to leave because all you wanted to do was say, well, I can. But I encourage you to make the party the best party of the year. I encourage you to make it memorable because, see, some of you were club promoters. Some of you were throwing parties in college. Maybe you didn't do it in college. Maybe you did it in high school. Maybe you was doing it as an adult outside of any schooling. But now you're here and you just the bump on the log. Well, the Lord wants better for that. The Lord wants you to actually seek him 10 times the more. Verse 21. The pipe and the psaltery make sweet melody, but a pleasant tongue is above them both. So the music makes sweet melody, but a person who knows how to speak to the people, that's also very good as well. See, you got to have a great combination of things here. If you want the perfect ingredients to a party, and y'all ain't think that we was going to talk about a party, did you? You didn't know that we was going to talk about it. But you got to bring the right things to the party. See, a lot of people bring the controversial matters to the party. They bring the drama to the party, the smoke to the party. Man, leave all that at the door. Bring the wine, bring the food, and bring the wisdom. And don't try to overshadow one with the other. Have a perfect balance of that. Oh, but no. You Israelites can't do it. John chapter 2. John chapter 2, verse 8. Now, I got to take a break. I got to make sure that y'all paying attention. I got to ask of you. I got to ask of you, will you hit the share button and bring that to some of your friends? Because maybe you know somebody who always ruining the party. Maybe you know somebody who has the voice of an angel and will not bring it out at the party. Maybe you know somebody who never brings and puts in at the party. Maybe you know somebody who does all the effort and the work for the party. Party is synonymous to what? The Passovers, the new moons, the Sabbath days, the family field gatherings that maybe you may put on outside of that. Maybe you know someone who always doing that and they need a break. They need help. You burning them out because you taking advantage of them, but you ain't giving nothing back. Okay, the Lord gonna bless them. But it sure be nice if you would just show a little appreciation. You know? And I see the shady people online right now. May Alionai by Israel is very shady because she know good and well that I'm not gonna sing nothing. I'm not bringing out that voice. You know, I'm not gonna do it. No, because I don't want to be the one that brings forth bad fortune among all of you. I don't want to be the one to ruin you into the where I get you all out the spirit and give you bad dreams at night. I don't want to be that person. So I'm gonna let those who do the singing well do that thing. I'll tell you what, man. I just yell, turn off the lights. That's about it. Turn them off. It says helping clean up. Help. We do need those who will help clean up. But we also need those who will share the broadcast. So all praise to the Most High God for that. As we get back to John chapter 2. Oh, and for those who you just joined in and you trying to catch the replay, previous midweek meditations, maybe some trivia that led to this, or some nice daily verses that you could share that was made by your own people. Midweekmeditations.com is a place to satisfy those needs. John chapter 2, verse 8. And ain't it funny? Because I know y'all hear me a little stuffy. That I've been good all day, but as soon as it's time to teach, I'm up here. You see, Satan, he always trying to get this little distraction on. John chapter 2, verse 8. And it says, you know what? Can I start at verse 1? Do y'all mind if I just start at verse 1 and read down? Because I like giving the context. You know, sometimes getting straight to the point is cool, but I like reading a little bit more. And maybe this will encourage you to read some more on your own. So this is John chapter 2, verse 1. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. Now, I know y'all understand that when people get married, it's time to party. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. Now, how dare they drink wine in front of Jesus, right? Because, you know, your average Christian think that it's a sin to drink, even though they turn up the bottle with the best of them. But they feel like they don't understand the balance of, let me have enough to be merry, but not too much to be drunk. And they wanted wine. The mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. Jesus said unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servant, whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone. See, that was the servants right there. Mama said, Mama Jesus said, hey, y'all do what my son say. Do what he says. Meaning, she had a little bit of authority here. over some servants, some helpers, those who were helping make sure the party was going well. See, some people don't have no help. That's why the party ain't no good. But you complain. But you mad that, you rather be somewhere else. And it's your fault because you don't want to help. I'm not cutting nobody, though. I'm just saying. I don't know who would ever do such a thing. But it says, and there were, verse 6, set there 6 water pots of stone, and the manner of the purifying of the Jews containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. And Jesus said unto them, fill the water pots with water. And they filled them to the brim. And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governors of the feast. And they bear it. So you got Jesus over here with the bootleg liquor. I'm just playing. Forgive me, Lord. With the water that he tells him to draw out and give it to the governor of the feast. Governor of the feast and the master of the feast, same thing. When the ruler of the feast, same thing, had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom. And he said unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. Now, when we step back and examine this, it tells us some things. First and foremost, it gives you a little bit of understanding on how the party's supposed to go. You're supposed to give the best stuff at the beginning. The good wine at the beginning. But Jesus made such a good wine in this miracle that he performed that it was like, wait, the master of the feast, the governor of the feast, the ruler of the feast said, wait a minute, man, y'all done did this out of order. This wine is so good that I'm about to have to tell y'all about yourselves for bringing it out of order. But let's step back a little bit more and understand this. See, the governor of the feast, the ruler of the feast, was the guy that made sure things went in order. Hey, come here. Let me tell you what to do. Let me do this, do that, do this, so that we can have a proper party. That was an important role in Israel. And see, some of us don't value roles that don't come with, the most prestigious of titles and showings. And we fail to realize that there are no small roles. What they say in drama school, acting school, there are no small parts, just small actors. Well, this was a huge role because if you do it right, so many people are impacted and affected and have a great time. So who do we have in this? We have the ruler of the feast. We have the servants. We have Jesus and his mother who play a part in coming in, who are supposed to be attending, but they step in to help out when they saw a need. You see, they didn't have to do that. They could have just been like, ain't no wine. Party's whack, man. But Jesus' mother said, nah. My son got it. Hey, Jesus said, hey, so put some water in there. I'll take care of the rest. You see, if we had spirits like that and mindsets like that, we would want to come together more often. And the reason why is because every party would be a great party. But I'm going to be honest with you, Israel. Some of y'all lame. Some of y'all whack. Some of y'all boring. It's like you come into the truth and you forget how to have fun. You forget how to enjoy yourself. The only way of enjoyment can't just be in sin, right? There's got to be enjoyment in truth and in righteousness, right? So my encouragement in a moment like this is to find a way to be that joy to other people. Bring a bottle or something. People really be so money conscious that they're unwilling to put $10 on something. Whether they spent that $10 or not wasn't going to help them it wasn't going to turn them into a millionaire. And then when they do spend it, they're going to spend it on some stuff that is of little value to them, let alone anyone else. See, it would be better if I spent $10 and shared it with everybody than it would be if I spent $10 on myself and then crapped it out on the toilet later. I had to give the visual, but that's how we do when we go and get this little fast food when we could have saved money elsewhere, maybe buying and preparing our own food. When we go to get our little Starbucks coffee for $3, $4, when we could make coffee at home, save a little money. My encouragement is that we begin to be nation minded and think about the collective and how our little bit of effort can go a long way. That's what it's about being the master of the feast. It's not about the vain glory that comes with being the master of something and having the title and position. Because a lot of people think that they run in the show. No, you're the one that's helping to make sure that everyone enjoys themselves. See, and not only that, we see the importance of wine. You can't have a good party without the drink. I'm not encouraging any of you to be alcoholics. I'm not encouraging any of you to do something that is not good for you. But I am encouraging you to understand the elements that God intended to have at the party, at the feast. If you're going to be the master of the feast, you got to keep that in mind. I done been to events where nobody brought cups, nobody brought drinks at all. It's just dry. No music, no drink, and some bad food. Not the best food. And then I've been to events where, oh my gosh, DJ, you was doing your thing. Who cooked this food? Let me go thank the chef personally. Okay, it was like a Crown Royal waterfall. That's the kind of party you want to see. And then you enjoyed all the people around you. You had this brother giving you a good story. You learned something from this brother. Same thing with the sisters. Everybody enjoyed themselves. And it was like, oh, dang, it's over. I hate the fact that I got to go to work tomorrow. Or if you're lucky, you don't have to go to work tomorrow. And you like, hey, it's getting late. I understand that, it's neighbors out here. I might need to tone it down. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. A feast is made for laughter. See, the whole point in having a feast is for laughter. See, a lot of people get that confusion that you're not supposed to have fun. Nah, laugh. Organic laughter, not no, hey, laugh on cue stuff. The real laughter. The kind of laughter where, you bent over, can't breathe good. It's real, it's sincere. You might sweat a little bit, from all that laughter. That's the kind of event that you want. And as we begin to really perfect ourselves and come into this knowledge of truth, see, some of you just know precepts, but when you begin to apply the precepts and they become real in your life, verse 19 take effect. If it ain't took effect yet, then there's something missing in your spiritual development. It says, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So now let's put the collection together here. Let's put the combination. See, collection was just a bad choice of word right there because I'm not passing around a collection plate. What I'm saying is the combination of a feast and laughter and wine. They do good things, but you really need money to put on the show. See, somebody got to put in, as a collective so that we can have enough money to have food, to have drinks, to have music, to have a space to do this in, to have toilet paper for the guests, to have heater and air conditioning for the guests, to have lights for the guests, to have, decorations, to have chairs, to be able to have cleaning products. Money answers all things. You want to know why the party sucks? The money is the answer a lot of the times. Let's go back up to verse 18. It says, by much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of hands the house droppeth through. You see, if we're slothful, we won't have a nice party, won't have a nice venue. How many of us have gone to the party where the decorations, though maybe not very expensive, really made the party more festive? And then how many of us have gone to the place where it's just white light and blank walls? And it changed the whole mood of the thing. See, we got to have some people who are willing to get over here early and decorate. We got to have some people who are willing to stay after and clean up. We got to have some people who are willing to put forth a little money, who are going to make some drinks. I'll be up here saying, you know what, let me be the bartender. You know what, let me put some effort into this. You know, here, I'll be trying to put together a New Moon drink fund and put together an impressive bar menu, you know, but it's hard to please Jake, I tell you, you know. But I try. I just try. I be trying to make it happen because I believe in what these scriptures say. I believe that this is an office that has to be taken serious, and I can't, you know, forsake that office for whatever reason that may be inconvenient for me. You know, I take it serious that I'm going to sacrifice certain niceties and easy moments to say, you know what? The Lord's given me an opportunity to get that recompense. The Lord has given me the opportunity to absolve some of my sins. I'm about to do something for Israel. It says, the feast is made for laughter. So let's go back to Sirach 32 and 7. Now I'm looking back at the comments. You got Eleazar saying, bring a case of wine. All praises, brother. I can't wait till you come down. You got, oh, man. You got May talking about, can I turn my mic up a little? Let me see. She don't think my mic loud enough. Why you want to do that, May? Nah, my mic is loud as it's going to get. For now. Anybody else complaining about my mic? Well, may God be with you. Told you about using them little micrometer speakers. Put me on the big speaker. Hadessa say, but they get a Popeye chicken sandwich though. Hadessa, you know, it's some brothers and sisters that they not bringing no food to the party, but they stop and eat on the way. Ooh, that brother or sister need to repent. Because they'll stop and eat on the way and then get here with no food while everybody else hungry and say, I'm good. I'm good. Let's see what else you say. You say, the laughter that it's okay to have without being told, sis, you being clamorous. You need to check it, calm down. Yeah, that laughter, Hadessa. You know, I'm talking about the genuine love and joy type laughter, not the, all right now, we see what you're doing, being facetious. Eleazar say volunteers. Man, I wish we did have some real volunteers, people who loved what they were doing, and for the love of what they were doing, they showed up. You know, man, you got to beg people these days. You got to beg people to do stuff, and you're going to get a piss poor effort in many cases. And hopefully that's a spirit that changes within Israel. Where people take joy and pride in being a part of the helping group, as opposed to, oh man, I don't want to do nothing for these people. So we back in Sirach 32 verse 7. It says, speak, young man, if there be need of thee, yet scarcely when thou when thou art twice asked. You gotta recognize when it's time for you to speak. As we spoke about earlier, some of y'all want to overtalk the music. You want to overtalk the person with the good knowledge. You know, there's wisdom coming out, and you want to say your part too. But your what you're saying really ain't that valuable right now. You know, if I'm gonna be honest with my brothers and sisters, see, some of us really don't know the value of our words, but we overvalue it because we think more highly of ourselves than we ought to. It says, and I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more in just a second after I get this next verse. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, yet holdeth his tongue. See, have y'all ever been in a situation where it's a group of us having a conversation and you have a good point to bring, but you can't bring it out because the person who's talking right now is just so dang long-winded? Have you ever been in that situation to where you can't get to your point because someone want to interrupt and give you their point? They always got to add additive to the conversation. Well, that mess up the party. People be drained by that and be like, dang, who invited that brother? I had something to tell y'all, but this brother, this sister didn't let me get it out. See, you have to learn how to bring out what you need to bring out more concisely. You have to learn how to take understanding of what is being said very concisely so you don't overshadow it with too many questions. See, a lot of us have to learn better communication skills because you're going to mess up the party with all that, huh? I don't understand. And, I'm going to be real short, and then you end up being real long. And see, I ain't talking about nobody in particular. I'm speaking in general here. Don't nobody get offended. But this represents a lot of people, I'm sure. Some people that I know it represents, some people that I don't know it represents. It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. See, this is a piece of wisdom right here that many people can't understand. When someone is an elder to you, when someone is known to be more knowledgeable than you, it's very wise of you to let them do more talking than you. Because you have an opportunity to learn something that can elevate you to one day be the most knowledgeable. To elevate you to be one that is seen and viewed as an elder. But if you're too busy talking about the stuff you already know, then you'll never grow. And see, I learned that as a young man myself is I never want to be the smartest person in the room. Now, I might end up being the smartest person in the room. That's a certain story. But if I had it my way, I want to be in the room where I can grow and learn from other people. I want to be in the room with the older man that's going to tell me some wise stories. I want to be in the room with a skillful sister or brother that can tell me something that I don't already know. But if I'm too busy telling my little story that really ain't got much value, that ain't helping nobody, just because I want to just have the limelight in the show, I'm ruining it. I'm ruining the party for me and everyone else. It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal. The way you make yourself equal is you try to talk just as much as the person that you wish was doing most of the talking. So let's step back and give an example for a minute. Imagine if, from a worldly perspective, you should understand this. You have the keynote speaker in the building. The person that is very successful, world-renowned, and we brought him in to speak. Paid him money to speak. He's made millions and billions of dollars, or he's successful in this right, and he wants to share how he was successful with a room full of people who have never achieved that level of success. And then imagine a young person coming and overshadowing that and ruining the experience and the opportunity for everyone to get in-depth knowledge face to face from that person. Would you not be upset with that young man or that young sister? Shut up, you would want to tell them, right? Because why? We had a great person here that could bestow upon us knowledge that could take us to another level, but yet this time was wasted with someone who we see all the time and who got, unfortunately, not to be rude, don't have what we wanted and needed at that time to elevate us. We came here with the expectation of getting the keys to success, and instead, we got this. Now, somebody's going to be offended. Stop. Get out your feelings. What we're doing here is bringing out wisdom to help elevate you. Because if you're willing to examine yourself and say, I know that I don't know nothing. I don't know anything. But I am thankful and happy to be in a room with people who do. That may curb your desire to be so loud. And it may encourage you to desire that the wise and the ancient speak. You see, for many of us, that's very simple, should be very simple to understand. Now, from a worldly perspective, we got it. But maybe from a truth perspective, we should understand as well. Many of us don't have no understanding of the Bible. Barely have read 10 pages of it. Don't know how to keep the new moon. What is the new moon? When is the new moon? Don't know. Don't know the importance of keeping the feast days. Don't know the value of dressing appropriately. asking for the right days off, just doing things with very little understanding. And then you have a man with more understanding in the room with you who's been keeping the commandments for years, who's been continuously growing in spirit, who has been staying out of sin. You might want to give opportunity for that brother to speak, that sister to speak. Don't be the sister that say, no, I know everything. When clearly you don't. You may be good in the world, but we're not playing in the world no more. We're actually trying to come out of that mindset. We might be in the world, but we're not of the world anymore. Meaning we got a spiritual mindset and understand that our success is different. It's not just about dollars. It's not just about the vain things. But now it's about the heavenly things. And if you can get the combination right, you'll have the success on both sides if you do it right. But many of us don't have success on either side. And if we have one, it's the worldly side. So now it's time to change that. Proverbs 17:27. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. If you want the key to having a great spirit about you, brother, sister, gain the knowledge you need to gain. Basic level knowledge is to shut up and, comprehend much in few words. Hold your tongue, hold your peace. Don't overshadow the music. Don't drink too much, which causes you to babble too much. But it's really gained because if you got enough knowledge, you'll get more knowledge. See, the thing is, it's exponential growth. If you can just get enough to begin with, then it's going to grow from there. But you got to get that basic starter kit knowledge, which is to be quiet, which is to be helpful, which is to make the party better through your efforts, not your complaints. It's going to show that you're a man of understanding. It's going to show that you have knowledge. It's going to show that you have an excellent spirit. Verse 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. See, even a fool can begin to tip the scale of wisdom by shutting up. Not very difficult. You don't have to know very much. You don't have to do very much. One key principle. Quiet down. Be more helpful than hindering. See, a lot of people, they're good with the complaints, but they're terrible with the solution. And that's why I'm a person that believes is I don't want to condemn anything that I ain't willing to provide a solution for. It says, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. See, y'all thought I was being rude, but it's the Most High God that told you to shut up. Let me not say shut up, because somebody's offended. You offended? Well, go read your Bible and deal with it. Because a lot of people get caught up in how things are said and never focus on what is said. And the what is said is coming straight out of the Bible that it's foolish of you to have so much speech. It's foolish. But you become a person of understanding, knowledge, and wisdom when you just be quiet. And that's what the master of the feast is having to do as well. Even the person who is deemed to be important has to learn to be quiet as well. You see, some people just, with all that star power, they think that they're supposed to talk all day. But nah. See, it's a good look. It's a very good look to work on your spirit and show excellent spirit. It's a very good look. See, a lot of times the person who doing the most talking is looking bad. They think they looking good, but they looking bad. And many of us never realize, as I said earlier, that what we have to say is not as valuable as we think it is. And I'm not saying that your words are worthless. I'm not saying that there's no value at all in your words. I'm saying in wisdom, we have to begin to think. When is the right time to say? When is the wrong time to say? Who's in the room with me? I think I would defer to this person because they can bring out something that I can't. What's going on in the room? It's a time for joyfulness, and maybe what I want to bring out is not timely. Because what I'm about to speak about is going to bring the whole room down. I'm about to bring sorrow into the room. I'm about to be a Debbie Downer. How many of you are the Debbie Downers of the group? Always got to bring forth your drama when it's time to party. Oh my gosh. It's the Sabbath. It's the new moon. Here we got to come deal with what you're dealing with and all the rain of the parade that you bring. And see, the thing is, it's the master of the feast job to elevate the joyfulness, to help control the room, to tell this person, hey, let's not talk about that right now. Hey, don't you hear the music playing? Let the music play. Don't overshadow the music. Okay, if y'all can talk, cool. But don't do it to where it's so loud that the people in the other room can't enjoy. Hey, you've had too much to drink. I can tell because of all your lip smacking. You just flapping at the wind. Okay. The master of the feast got to make sure that the people are bringing what they're supposed to bring. You said you was going to bring the ice and the dessert. Why you didn't bring the dessert and the ice? Why you didn't bring your dish? Why are you late? Oh, don't question. Nah, man. You knew what time we were supposed to be here. And we was relying on your dish. Sometimes y'all going to have to quit being so offended at someone questioning you and realize where you messed up and where the fact that you are not contributing to the joyfulness that God wants us to have. You are so caught up in captivity and feel like life is so bad, but you're not contributing to making life better. We're supposed to be the happiest people on this earth right now. We got knowledge. We got brothers and sisters that are of a similar mindset. We have hope for a kingdom. We have Christ as our king. We got the one true God. But yet many of us are just sad all throughout the week. You sad on Wednesday for midweek meditation, and the Sabbath will be here soon, and you're going to be the saddest brother in the room then too. You really ain't even fellowshipping. You just trying to check the box that you hear. Repent. For you brothers and sisters that don't even see the value in fellowshipping anymore, repent. Change your ways. Find a group of people to deal with. And quit being so controversial and always trying to cause drama, and find a way to be the one to cause unity. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5 and 7. It says, for in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also diverse vanities, but fear thou God. See, the multitude of words is normally vanity involved. Either you lying and sinning, and that's why you talking so much, trying to cover up what you got and make yourself look better than you are. Your actions going to speak louder than your words will. And the more words that you use a lot of times, see, because I'm talking about somebody here, I know someone is catching it. I know someone, it's about someone. Who is it? I don't know, but you do. Because these words are supposed to reprove you, hopefully, Lord's will. Proverbs 10 and 19 says, in the multitude of words, 10 and 19. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin. Meaning there's no lack of sin in the multitude of your words. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. Why? Because we go back to that thing called pride. And, there's so many different sins that you could be involved in that you may not realize it. But the fact that you want the spotlight may be your sin. The fact that you want the camera on you may be your sin. The fact that you want all the attention may be your sin. You may be attracting some things that then are the gateway to the next sin. You getting all this attention was going to lead to your lust being fulfilled. And many a times, the more you talk, the more you expose who you really are. And now people recognize the wickedness within you that you was trying to hide before. Ecclesiastes 19 and 17. Matter of fact, we can't go there yet. We got to read verse 20. Proverbs 10, verse 20. It says, the tongue of the just is as choice silver. See, the tongue of the just, the righteous man, right, is as choice silver, meaning this is carefully selected. This is valuable. And it's to be well taken care of. It says, and the heart of the wicked is little worth. So if you that brother or sister that you know you got issues that you need to work on and repent of, you might want to be quiet about it because the worth may not be there. And it'd be best that you just enjoy the time and let everybody else enjoy the time, that you help out where you can. Oh, well, let me go pick up some trash since I know that I'm full of wickedness and evil. Let me ask if somebody needs some help. Because I know that all I'm doing is causing problems, and I need to find a way to balance these scales of all my issues. It says, the lips of the righteous feed many, and fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. See, the lips of the righteous feed many. It feeds many in multiple ways, too. One, because it provides wisdom and knowledge to others as they get the opportunity to speak. When everyone else is quiet when they should be. But it also, those who are righteous are the ones putting on the banquet. The ones bringing forth the food, the wine, the music. So I encourage you to be one of those wise. Don't die for want of wisdom, because this is wisdom right here. See, a lot of y'all don't realize the importance of this skill set. You think it's all about screaming at people and saying, I'm going to cut somebody with the word. But no, it's about showing up. It's about being a servant. It's about being hospitable and charitable. It's about being a team player. Ecclesiastes 9 and 17. The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than they cry of him that ruleth among fools. See, we spoke about the master of the feast / the governor of the feast / the ruler of the feast, right? If you're the ruler, don't rule among fools like this is saying here. You got to find a way to be the words of wise men to be heard in quiet. Meaning what? One, that your actions will speak when your words don't have to. That's one way. Another way is that it comes in a timely manner. You don't have to get loud and shut everybody down to hear it. People are going to be quiet because they want to hear it. The words of wise men are heard in quiet. Meaning people are going to seek it out. Like, you're not even trying to bring it out. But they know you got it and they want it. They want to come to your feet and say, teach me something. Wise. It says, wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. See, remember, when you compare the wisdom, it's talking about the one that know when to speak. When you compare the sinner, that's the fool that don't know when to speak. Let's go back to 16. It says, then I say, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. See, we got to do better at allowing wisdom to be heard regardless of who it's coming from. Not to exalt yourself and have respect of persons, and because the rich man speaking, everybody here. Poor man speak, nobody listen, right? We got to be able to make sure that wisdom is wisdom. And you're rich, not financially, but in spirit, so that you can be heard. Sirach 32 and 10. Before the thunder goeth lightning, and before shamefaced men shall go favor. Rise up betimes and be not the last, but get thee home without delay. See, now we got more good info that you got to know when it's time to go. You always got that one brother or sister that leave too early, and you got that one that leave too late. But there's a fine time to do it. And for you to leave, there's probably a time where you stayed long enough and you've helped to clean up. There's always that one that try to get out before it's time to clean up, though. I don't know who I'm talking about. Somebody know, though. Somebody knows. 1 Samuel 2 and 3. Talk no more exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy. 1 Samuel 2 and 3. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. God is trying to see your actions. Are you going to really apply this, or are you going to skim over this and say, this ain't really that important? Let me go joke about a brother's beard who's not growing in strong. Let me go and boast about how big and beautiful my fringes are. Yeah, that's cool. Those are good commandments to keep. All praises. But somebody got to set the party off, right? Somebody got to bring joyfulness and gladness back to the nation. Because we serve the Lord not with joyfulness and gladness heart, therefore we went into captivity. Remember that? Therefore these curses are upon us. Deuteronomy 28. Go read it. Your actions are weighed. So which one are you going to start acting on, making sure that you make it to the fellowship? And now that you've made it, making sure that you bring something. And now that you've brought something, making sure that you know when and when not to speak. Oh, you've done that? Okay, cool. All praises. Bring back the party to Israel. Sirach 32 and 14. I'll just read down through 14. There take thy pastime and do what thou wilt, but sin not by proud speech. And for these things bless him that made thee, and hath replenished thee with his good things. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline. If you really fear God, you'll receive the discipline that we read about today in Sirach 32. And they that seek him early shall find favor. You'll find favor because you're going to make application of what you've learned. Now, I know somebody don't see no value in what we talked about today. But for me, I see plenty of value because I'm at the party every week. I'm doing the Sabbath. I'm doing the new moon. And when I say I'm doing, meaning I'm showing up. I'm not the master of the feast for all of these things, you know. Spread it around. Let everybody get a chance to be hospitable. Let everybody show some charity. And help the next person show the charity. I'm thankful for the brothers that open their home for the Sabbath. I'm thankful for those who have opened their space for the new moon. I'm thankful for the event planners. I'm thankful for the family field coordinators. I'm thankful for those who show up, for those who play the music, for those who telling a nice joke, for those who cook the food. I'm thankful for all of these different people who put up the decorations. I'm thankful for the good company. Because these are the building blocks of having a great nation. You know, I'm tired of the nation of bump on the log. I want to have more fun than I ever had in the world with you guys. I'm ready to see my house lit up for the feast days, as opposed to seeing it only lit everybody else's house lit up for their holy holidays. Folly days is what I like to call them. You know, I really like, you know, that term. I've heard it and I've used it. It's not mine. I didn't coin it. But that's a challenge, Israel. Y'all gonna do it? Or y'all just gonna say, nice class, all praises, that was an excellent class, but I'm gonna do the same thing I did last week. Not show up. Not show out. Be the reason why the party ain't no good. You know, we could have a really great party if everybody showed up. Y'all know, when you was in the world and you passed by the club and you wanted to see that long line outside to say, oh, look at all the cars in the parking lot in the line, I want to go. That's why they used to hold up the line out there, just to make it look like there was something going on. Well, we could have that in Israel, but we ain't gonna have to hold a line if we are all accountable to our words and show up when we say we will. But I ain't talking about nobody in particular. I'm just asking that we do better, Israel. I pray that somebody got something out of this thing. I pray that somebody hit that share button today. I pray that someone got something out of this and an opportunity for them to increase their action, to make the nation better by being able to examine this little concept here. So what say you, Israel? Y'all gonna set the party off? Y'all gonna do this thing right, for this Sabbath coming up? We got a new moon in a couple weeks too. Y'all gonna do that right? What's up? What you gonna do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who's coming down to celebrate with us? Who's bringing the drink? Who is bringing the music? Who gonna sing for us? Who gonna play an instrument for us? Who gonna rap? Rap is good too. Poetry is good too. What you got? You got anything to set the party off right? Or are we all just talentless? Rhythmless, talentless? I thought we was the best nation on earth. I thought we was above all. Why everybody else having way more fun than us? Make sure I sit down somewhere. We ain't playing no cha-cha slide and all of that right now. We need some new music. So make sure when you're bringing out the new music. Ooh, I think I just broke my knuckle off. Y'all pray for my hand. I think it's done. I think it's died. I shouldn't have did that. All praises to the Most High God for each of you who tuned in today. I pray that everyone got something out of it today. We had a lot of people join in on various platforms. We had the Periscope going, the YouTube going, the Facebook going. All praises for that. I see Mama Mita joined the building today. I see my brother Ezekiel in the building. I see y'all. So with that being said, I'm going to let y'all go. But go to midweekmeditations.com. Put that in your favorites, bookmark that thing. So that's how you can catch up in your spare time. See, some of y'all be bored and not doing anything. You at work, you driving in the car, you need something to listen to. All the videos right there in one place. You don't got to hunt for them. Thankful for those who have donated to the cause. Without you, we wouldn't have a good broadcast this week because remember, it went out last week. The sound was tripping. But for those of you who've donated, all praises. For those of you who stopped donating, we thank you for your past donations. For those of you who have yet to donate, we thank you for your future donations. It's provoking you to good works. For those of you who helped me get all this together and make it not such a burden to where, if I sneeze, I can't get the job done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brothers, sisters, all of y'all. So with that, that's Midweek Meditations. Tune in next week, 5:30 Central, Wednesday, for Midweek Meditations once again. We'll talk about something else. With that, I say shalom.
On keeping God's command.